We are here with legendary wide receiver Herman Moore to talk about Lions and Packers big game on Thursday. Herm, how you doing?
Hey, you know what? I have never been better. Lions are above 500, and we are playing well. So I really like what we did last week. Beating up on Atlanta, uh, having the confidence that we know that this team possesses. I think there was a little bit of a letdown against Seattle, but being able to bounce back, this is what the new Lions are doing. I know people don't like to use that term, new Lions, but this is what we see from a team. They didn't let what happened the week before in a game that really, technically, this team could be 3-0 right now. But right now, sitting at 2-1, we'll take it. And going into the Green Bay Packer game, it is one that's going to be filled with a lot of confidence.
They responded after a letdown to Seattle, and they really responded with 7 sacks, and this defense showed up quite a bit. Why do you think that occurred? They must have listened to Aaron Glenn or Dan Campbell. What do you think happened?
If you look at the Seattle game, I don't think they were as aggressive as they probably would have liked to have been. I think they gave a lot of, you got DK Metcalf, you got a Lockett. Yeah, you don't want to play man to man too often against players like that, but I think they saw an opportunity to just really bring the pressure. And this team thrives when the defense is playing aggressive. And when you see the pressure on the quarterback, they're getting the turnovers. They're causing teams to have to rush and get out of sync, and all of a sudden the offense comes in and just gives the offensive attack more chances. And that's what I like about the aggressive style of defensive play. It sets the tone, it sets the tempo, especially when the offense isn't on the field. uh, I want to see a little bit more of that this week. I think against the Packers, if they play with that type of a pressure, they're going to be able to really take control of the football game.
And it's interesting because if you look at the Green Bay Packers, very similar to the Atlanta Falcons. They can run the football, they're strong in the trenches, and the pass game is good, but it's not elite. When you look at Green Bay, what is something that the Lions got to pay attention to for their offense and our defense?
It's really it's attacking offensively. I want to see them get a little bit more of the play action. I thought they did a great job with the play action pass, and that is because there is a respect still with the running game. Is it as potent as it was last year? No. I think it can be better. I think they need to be a little bit more aggressive on that side of it. But the underneath passes, I want to see them get into the matchup, get the ball out a little bit quicker. We have elusive wide receivers offensively. If we're able to get the ball in their hand and we'll allow those guys to get it with one guy defending them or before they get into coverage, I think there's a lot more to be there. But there was a few opportunities to hit over the top, to hit the home run, or to hit the big plays. The Lions need to be able to threaten that middle third and those deep thirds against the Packers defense and against opponents going forward for the running game to continue to be better. If you want to stop the Green Bay Packers, I think if you take away either the run or the pass, make a commitment to one or the other, they become very one-dimensional. And if they become one-dimensional, you're hurting a team that if they have limitations on the weapons or the things they can go back to, they become very predictable.
Absolutely. You make them one dimensional. You go ahead, stop the run, in which we've been really good at so far this season, and force Jordan Love to attempt to beat us like we did with Desmond Ritter. When you look at the Lions offense, you said the play action pass. We seen it last week with Sam Laporta. What is going on with Sam Laporta and the play action and what he's going to bring to this game on Thursday?
Well, with Laporter, I saw him when he was in college. Good route runner, has really good hands, and he seems very comfortable catching the ball. He doesn't fight the football. He doesn't struggle. And when he gets upfield, you look at even the touchdown that he had on the play action pass against the Falcons. I mean, the aggressive way in which he attacked the secondary, the defensive back doesn't know what to do. When he was going up on the safety didn't know if he was going to be running more of a flood route or whether or not he was going to break across and run that back corner flag route. And ultimately, he was wide open and he has speed. And with him, I don't see him playing like a rookie. He's playing like a veteran guy. So he's picked up the slack where they've needed it in the passing attack, and he definitely becomes something of a weapon and an asset that teams have to pay attention to. Now, what I want to see though, they got to figure out how do they get that deep threat, and they need to find a playmaker in the wide receiver position because it's got to be more than just the dink and dunks. It's got to be more than just the underneath pieces. Teams will start to stack the box. They will get a little bit more aggressive. and they will start figuring out how to play those possession style passes. So we got to see guys open up in the deep thirds. But right now it's not broken. It's for them. It's staying away from turnovers. It's being consistent. There is a little bit of a concern because of the offensive line and because some of the injuries that they've had there. But if the Lions can get back healthy, and it seems like they're okay, they're making do with what they have. The Packers are going to be aggressive defensively. So I would expect them to try and bring a little bit more pressure, play a little bit more man against the Lions receivers. But offensively, I still give the edge to the Detroit Lions offensive unit.
Yeah, Lions offensive unit just continues to be good, even with backup right tackles, went to our fourth string, and we're still producing. And that's very difficult for NFL teams to do. But it looks like Taylor Decker's probably going to play in this game, and we get David Montgomery potentially coming back. What can those two do to help the Lions out on offense?
With Decker, you're bringing back again a person who solidifies your offensive line. You bring back Montgomery; he gives you that dual attack in the backfield. But with Gibbs, I think he's holding his own. He's doing okay there. I think they need to be able to get the running backs a little bit more involved in the passing attack and getting them the football away with the stretch run, kind of by throwing those swing passes or getting them running angle routes or doing those option routes against linebackers. And if they can just really, again, find those matchup problems, that's what this game is all about. It's
Yep.
who can create matchup issues, who can create an advantage that makes the team get out of their scheme and have to all of a sudden adjust to what you're doing because now you're dictating the game. And when the Lions are able to do that, they play with a different type of an energy. But what I do like is when they get behind or they feel threatened, this team seems to step up.
Absolutely, they step up. They're believing in the coaching staff. And I don't think the big game is too scared for them. All right. They went to Kansas City and beat them on opening night, so they can do it there in Green Bay. What do you think the Lions defense and offense, like what is the X factor for both of those sides of the football in this game?
The expectation is going to be defensively to not give up any big plays. Is also going to be to stuff the running game. I don't think there's a lot of threat right now that they're fearing from the passing attack. They're not really looking at the receivers and thinking that that's the best receiving unit or tandem or group that they're going to face this year. So I don't think defensively the Lions are going to look at anything other than smart play when the plays are there, create turnovers, and then putting pressure on Love. And if they do that, they'll be fine. And then got to stay solid on the inside interior lines. That the Packers will attack the edges. They will try and attack the interior part of the offensive line, defensive line, and try and get some pressure up there. But the linebackers have played very well. I like the speed and aggressiveness there. Offensively, again, Lions must attack the Packers. They must attack them down the field. They have to hit those mid to deep levels a little bit more. Playing the underneath is good. Right now, it seems like their biggest play and their deep threat is, with Reynolds or Raymond. And when you're talking about deep passes, and then you got Laporta, who's emerging, and now he's on everyone's radar. So there's going to be some limitation. There's going to be some game planning that teams are going to do around him to try and make sure that the Lions don't have those big plays coming from the tight end position. So consistency running the football. Don't worry about taking unnecessary risks. When there's points to put on the board, put them on the board, and then you punt and you play defense. And if the Lions do that, I think they will handle the Green Bay Packers.
There's one player that's been blowing up for the Detroit Lions. He's a defensive back. You went against great ones. When you look at Brian Branch, this rookie, what do you see from him that's just making him so spectacular?
One, he's solid in his technique. If you look at the way Branch comes downhill and when he wraps up the runner or the ball carrier, he makes a solid tackle. He makes a solid play. He has really, really great leverage and angles that he takes. He's never really out of position. And even I was impressed with his coverage skills. I mean, even when he's playing off against tight ends or against some of the slot receivers, he seems to be in the right position. And understanding that when he's undercutting a pass, that means that you have to make sure you're making contact. You look at the tip away passes that he had and just being at the right place at the right time. That's just instincts. And if he's doing that as a rookie, he's doing that as a young player, it's only going to go uphill for him. He's going to get better and better and better. And when I look at him, I was looking at this guy going, hey, is this the defensive leader in the secondary with the plays that he's making? He just seemed to be a part of all the plays against the Falcons, and he's really emerged. And having that type of strength in the backfield in the secondary just gives you nothing but confidence because he can roam around and play a little bit more out of position and still make plays.
So you see this team going into Lambeau on Thursday. Who wins and why?
I think this will be a game that the Lions will win, but I am going to say this with a slight pause. They're going to have to play smart football. They got to stay away from the penalties. This is one of those games where I think penalties and turnovers become the key to the game. I think it's going to be a tight game, but the separation and points are going to occur with the team that are able to create the turnovers and then also capitalize on those and turn those into points. The Lions, I think, will be able to do that. Defensively, I really like the way that they're playing. I think they're coming off of good momentum against the Falcons. Offensively, I think they've proven to themselves that they have other weapons as they're trying to get some of these other players healthy and that they can have still balance and they can protect Jared Goff. And he's being very smart with the football. There's only very few errant passes that I see for him. So I give them the edge because they bring the more seasoned quarterback to the table. They have a very good offensive line, even though they have injuries, and they have players who understand what it takes to win and win in Lambeau. So I really think that the Packers are the one, even though they're coming off of a high win. I think they're the ones who are going to have be on their heels a little bit.
So we're going to be live for the game on Thursday at the Soaring Eagle Casino. Why should Lions fans show up?
Because man, Mike's going to be there and he's bringing the nation with him. You know, everywhere we go, we always bring fun, we bring festivities, we bring energy, and we bring excitement. So you got to come in, hang out with us, and also it's a great place not only to watch online when we go live, but also if you have an opportunity to be out at the Ascend and at the sports book, that's a great place to come in and play some of your bets. I'm not, advocating for those of you who don't want to do it, but I know I will be there because it will be happening.
With that said, folks, appreciate everybody listening. Adios.